The bundle of 5 works from Rose Publishing adds some super beneficial works to one's Accordance library. Let's just quickly examine some of these works. So the first one I want to examine is the Deluxe Then and Now Bible Maps. I even had this in print years ago, but I love having it in Accordance. So we can look here, for example, on the conquest to the Promised Land, and we can see the 12 tribes. So here's what the 12 tribes would have looked like then, and then here's what the 12 tribes look like now in the modern era. And we can also look at, for example, the life of Jesus, and there's some great charts here, and we can see what the Holy Land looked like. So this is what it looked like during the time of Christ, and then this is what it would look like in the modern day. And in the print edition, what happened was you would have the map in the book, and then you would have this clear overlay that would show you the now that you would overlay on top of the then. But here in Accordance, you just have everything right at your fingertips, where you have the graphics already pre-composed, and these are great that you could add to a presentation if you're a Sunday school teacher or teaching Bible study, or if you're a professor, or if you're a pastor. You're going to get some great, rich media out of this work. And here's, for example, a life of Jesus that you can look through. Nice little chart here, very concise, very easy to understand. Here's what Jerusalem looked like during the time of Jesus. Again, some really rich media in this work. The next volume I want to show is the Rose Bible Overview. This is similar to the MacArthur Bible Handbook, where it provides a good overview of the Old and New Testament. So, for example, if I wanted to look through the book of Exodus, I could do that. This one has a little more media and graphics than the MacArthur Bible Handbook. So, for example, here's Israel and Egypt. But the format is similar. So you've got the purpose. There's a nice little discussion here on Moses' name. You've got the outline of the Bible book. Again, some background material here. Here's another neat graphic. So here's the Code of Hammurabi, for example. And then some other sections in Exodus. There's some very condensed timelines, some good maps in this work. So you got key people in the work as well, some key verses and some key themes in the work, and also how Jesus is in the work. And then we can scroll down here, for example, here's Leviticus, and here's a look at the tabernacle. Again, I wish I had known about this work earlier. I could have used this just to quickly get some material as I was preparing exegetical papers. It would have been super beneficial for those. And I wish I had known about the work a lot sooner. I would have been using it, but now I'm using this quite frequently. We've also got the Rose Guide to the Temple, which again is going to be very media driven and going to have some great content in here. So for example, here's God's sanctuary before the temple. And here's a graphic on the expulsion of the Garden of Eden after the fall. And then it's talking about David bringing the ark into Jerusalem and atonement and sacrifices, a picture of Jesus on the cross, and a very good in-depth discussion there, and then a look at the church. So a very useful work there on the temple. Rose also has their guide to the tabernacle, again, very media-driven. So here's the section on the tabernacle. There's videos that you can watch with these sections, and again, some very rich media. These would be great to use in slides if you're teaching in a Sunday school setting or a Bible study setting, or if you're a professor. Here's the design of the tabernacle, and there's some other good discussions in here as well. Concise, easy to understand, but just super beneficial. And then Rose's Guide to End Times Prophecy is the final one here, and so what matters most when it comes to the end of the world in the Old and New Testament, for example. And again, very rich media with this work, and there's good discussions. So here's a discussion on the gospel and the promised Messiah. And again, some great pictures here as well. Pictures from the Holy Land that you can look at as well. And then there's another great chapter here. So, for example, 4 ways to the end of the world. And so it's breaking down the different positions. So, amillennialism, postmillennialism, dispensational premillennialism, and historical premillennialism, in a very easy to understand format for the non-scholar. Complete with very rich charts and graphics. So, someone that would need to teach through this material in a Bible study or Sunday school setting, or even for the professor, would be super beneficial. And it shows, for example, here's the different views concerning the rapture. And you've got these great rich charts here as well. And how dispensationalism is different from some of the other views on eschatology and ecclesiology. So some very rich works that you can add to your library. Tons of media in these. Great for teaching, great for preaching, and also just great for reading through and getting some overviews on Scripture. So I highly recommend adding these works to your library today. It's a great collection that you're going to get plenty of solid use out of in your personal Bible study, and especially in a teaching setting.